Everybody, my name's Rich and I'm Head of Technical Consulting from a company called Spectrum. We are experts in automating processes. So we've got a particular expertise around transactional document processes, whether that be documents in the sales ledger or documents in the purchase ledger. So it might be things like processing purchase invoices, matching those invoices back to orders and receipts, or it might be something around processing incoming orders from customers and matching their delivery addresses and their order numbers. There are some challenges around how you process your incoming orders, and that's one of the things that we're going to look to address today, specifically around unstructured orders. So there's lots of technologies out there that can help when you receive structured orders, but unstructured orders are a little bit more tricky, and there's a few things that we've been doing recently to try and address that challenge. There are a few ways that you can be processing your incoming orders at the moment. So the most obvious one is manual data entry. So we all receive orders from our customers and we probably have teams of people that are sat there data entering those orders into ERP systems. And that is where the manual data entry input method comes from. Now there's pros and cons from each of these four methods. So with manual data entry, one of the big pros is human oversight to the process. So where you've got people actually reading incoming orders and entering them manually, you've got oversight. That's a good pro. One of the big cons from working with manual data entry is obviously the amount of time that it takes and the expense that it takes as well. If you're receiving 50, 60, 70 orders a day via email, then it's going to take a rather large team to manually data entry those. A couple of other methods down there as well that are slightly more automated. So people tend to then look at EDI as the second way of, or the first way of automating incoming orders. And one of the pros of EDI is it tends to be very, very accurate. So if you can get your customers to send you orders in an XML file or a CSV file or a spreadsheet of some description, and you can import them into your ERP system, they're going to be very, very accurate. One of the cons of EDI is that it tends to be difficult to do that on scale. So you tend to do it with your big customers, but you tend not to be able to do it with the kind of tail end of your customers. We then have web portal integration. So everybody wants to push their customers onto their website, and there's obvious pros and cons from that as well. So by pushing customers onto the website, you'll allow them to interact with your marketing pieces. You'll give them access to delivery notifications and all those sorts of things. But you're asking them to take on the responsibility for entering their order manually. So they've probably already raised the order in their ERP system, and you're asking them to duplicate that effort in your ERP system. So you'll probably get a good percentage of your customers doing that, but not everyone will be happy to do that for you. And then another technology, and one thing that we use quite regularly, is intelligent document processing. So where you've got structured orders coming into an email address, so if you've got orders coming in as a PDF attachment to an email, you can use IDP, intelligent document processing, to read that order and to minimize the amount of manual data entry that you have to do, which is great when all of your orders are structured. Now, there's obviously pros and cons, as I've said, from all those four different ways of doing things, and the likelihood is that you're going to have a mixture of those methods within your organization eventually. But the one big gap to those four things are those unstructured orders that we still tend to get. So if you've got customers sending you emails where they say, send me 10 pairs of black boots, the ones that we ordered last time, or anything else like that, so a pair of safety trainers red at $10.99, it's those unstructured orders that are in the bodies of emails which are the really difficult ones to process. And up until recently, there hasn't really been anything you can do to help automate that process, to help extract the data and help populate the ERP system with those orders. And that's what we're going to have a quick look at today, is taking unstructured order data, natural language orders, and creating structured tabular data out of that. So I'm going to move the slide on, one slide. So this is an example of what I'm talking about here. So I don't know whether you can read it in the audience, so I'll read it out for you. But we've got an example of some text here, this top line, which is an order that's been emailed into an organisation. So it says, can I order a 3-metre harvest circle kit to the yard ASAP, please? And then it says order and an order reference, AAT086. Traditionally, the only way of placing that order in your ERP system would be somebody to read that and to manually input that data into the ERP system themselves. So you can kind of see a person can translate this natural language order into structured data. They can say, what's the product title, how many do they want, what's the size, what's the order number, where do they want it delivering to, and what's the delivery time frame. But it is very unstructured and it's very difficult for any level of automation to take place, or at least it was. So how do we meet that challenge? What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a recorded example. I hope you'll be able to see the text here, but in essence, this is a video recording of us extracting that natural language from the email, sending it off to AI, and for the AI returning the tabular data for us that we can then use to process the order. So we've got 4 orders in here. Some of them are quite complex. They've got quite a few different items on, but it's all very similar to the natural language order that I just read out. So it's natural language asking for things to happen. I'm just going to hit play on the recording and I'll talk you through what's happening. So I've hit play. Basically, you'll see the screen change in just a second. So here we are. So that top one there, the same example that I gave a second ago, changing, can I order a 3-metre harvest circle kit to the yard ASAP, please, into structured data. Second one down there, can I order an extra large pallet of 10 by 10 meadow cobbles to the yard, please? Again, changing into structured data, which we can then import via one of those EDI channels that we were talking about earlier on. You'll see the last example at the bottom there, a bit more fully featured. It had kind of 4 order lines, and then the output that we can kind of generate at the end. This really is kind of the visual output for the demonstration that we're doing today. So you can see this would be a formatted order, but typically we're pushing that order directly into the ERP system. So at that point, either somebody's reviewing the orders they're coming through, or if they meet all the criteria, it would be touchless and that order would appear in the ERP system without any help. Excuse me while I just skip back through to my right sides. So that's the recorded demonstration of being able to say, let's change a unstructured natural language email into a structured order. But what we can also do is we can also take this a step further, and we can use that unstructured language to be able to match items within our product catalog so that we can really kind of automate the end-to-end process. It's fine for us to have tabular data, but if we want to get that order into the system, we need to know specifically what items our customer is trying to order. So again, this is a very simple example of somebody trying to order some items in natural language. So there's 3 or 4 items on there. It's water-resistant boots. One of the things that's going to be really critical is getting the size correct, and often we have product codes that are different for each size. Likewise, on the safety trainers there, one of the things that it says in that particular case is the cheapest that you have. You've then got a specific brand of waterproof boot in the 3rd option, and some knee pads that we have on offer, and that's important to get the offer pricing. So 4 lines of natural language in that order that need matching back to the product catalogue so that we know specifically what items the customer's trying to order. And you can see once that's gone through the kind of matching process, so we had a list of hundreds and hundreds of products that these items could potentially match to. You can see the requested product description down the left-hand side, and you can see the matched product code just after it. So the top one there, very obvious in terms of the product code was actually included in the natural language in the email, so we could make a direct comparison. The second row down here said a pair of size 8 safety trainers, cheapest, black, and we've managed to match that to the right product code based on that description and the pricing within the product catalogue as well. The third one down hasn't been directly matched to a product code, but because we've got the brand that the customer is requesting and the size, it's making us a suggestion. So we've got a bit of a kind of score that either says I'm certain and I can place this order, or I need to get somebody involved with some approval of this order line. And then down at the bottom, we've got the knee pads matched as well, back to the right product code. So two main kind of jumps in technology that has allowed us to do this. Being able to process incoming emails, the body of the text in the email, and say, what is it that people are trying to buy, create me some structure in terms of kind of columning your data. And then the second thing, the specifics about what they're trying to buy, trying to match that back to our existing product codes. What this does is greatly reduce the amount of time and effort it takes for your teams that are processing orders. There's always going to be exceptions, so there's always going to be a need for those teams, and they're always going to have work to do, but if we can use that combination of driving customers towards EDI when it's appropriate, using technology such as intelligent document processing to process structured incoming orders, and then also being able to send the natural language body text of emails off to AI and get back that tabular data and match it to product codes. Using all those techniques at once will drive efficiencies within those sales teams. And those teams really need to be focused on upselling and cross-selling and not that manual data entry. It's obvious how much time can be saved within the process.